Hello. Me. We are live. Hello, everyone. It's Betty Fresas here, coming to you live from my bedroom. Um, there's no one watching yet, so I'm just gonna say, for whoever ends up watching this in the future, welcome. This is going to be hopefully a beginning of a series. As you could tell from my branded artwork, this is an illustration of me by Malice, a local San Jose queen, one of my sisters, and she actually drew this of myself. And I was really happy that she was able to do that for me with a little bit of my own collaboration. We created this little logo. So, why not display it? Why not use it? So, we are here. I'm going to do a little makeup look. If you didn't know, I do teach a class at the Queer Gym, which is in Oakland, but it's just in general online. Um, but yeah, I teach that class, and it's on Thursdays at 6:30. So I'm getting ready for that. It was a little like tryout, like 4 week essential like a workout for 4 weeks. Basically, they work in programs, so it was really fun. It was really interesting getting to do a little dance class inspired. It's called They Twerk Alone, so I'm just going to be getting ready for that. And then there's also a show coming up with Misbehavin' that I'm going to probably just do a little number for. Thank you for watching. Who is watching? Post a comment. I'm in charge of it all, so I want to see who's here. But thank you for watching. How's everyone doing? Obviously, like, I'm here stuck at home, so make the best of it. I'm going to be using an Urban Decay all-nighter primer, and I'm just going to be doing like a quick face. So I'm going to try like not color correcting because who cares at this point, we're all stuck at home. But Misbehaven's show is coming up. It's in like a couple of weeks, and it's called The Boob Show. So it's all about breastises. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be drawing my breasts on. So it's not really focused on the makeup in general, but I definitely have to like have an emphasis on here. So today for my class, I'm just going to hopefully, if everything goes well and according to plan, I'll have, some nice boob contour. But today I'm going to be I've been using this product lately, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Foundation. Come on, ASMR. So I'm gonna use this. Let's see. I'm on. What are you guys watching on? Are you on YouTube? Are you on Facebook? I'm trying to figure out where Betty is playing, but we're just using this. I have a couple of new kind of things in the works that I'm excited to come out with, but I think in 2 weeks, in 2 Tuesdays, we're going to be doing a new show. I'm going to be hosting a new show out of these same streaming devices. So we'll be doing a new show. It's going to be called Dollar Drag Show. If you want to be in it, please let me know. Oh, I see. Hi, Mikey. Okay, now I can see I don't know why I can't see the comments over here. Let me see, is there something I'm missing? I think I want to be able to like show your comments private chat. No. Okay, don't matter. I can see them over here. But how are you doing? I miss y'all too. Um, I'm doing good, just working. So like I was saying, I'm going to be having a new show, which I'm really excited. Y'all should tune in. It's going to be at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays. My brand is anything Mexican, Taco Tuesday. So why not just go for that day? So on Taco Tuesdays, you will be able to watch dollar drag shows as well, like dollar tacos. So I'm pretty excited about the concept. It's really fun, and I'm definitely going to be bringing some of your favorite performers, both or just queens and kings from all over the Bay Area. So super fun, super cool. Very, very excited. Hi, everyone. Thanks for reacting. I'm now seeing everyone's reactions on Facebook. I appreciate you all. How is everyone doing? Let me know in the comment section down below. Just going to use a couple more pumps. I actually think this is working pretty well. I've been trying to find a foundation. I mean, I'm like way over. Let's see if we can we fix this light? Okay. So I've been trying to find a foundation or just a way to do my makeup without having to color correct, just because, well, it saves time, but it's kind of like another step that if I didn't have to do, that would be great. Um, so this foundation has kind of been working lately for me. This color, I guess, the foundation is really good too, but this is 305M, which is a little bit darker than my skin tone. But right now, with no color corrector, I can see already that it's definitely warming up the beard area. For those moments, like that quick drag, when you happen to be competing for something, you gotta have like those quick foundations too. You just wanna blend, blend, blend. Make sure if you're watching, I know like Mikey, maybe Ryder's watching. I see Trisha liked it. Share it. I was going to try and share it more on my Instagram, but long story short, basically I had to put my phone in rice because there was like water in the charger. So as I was like posting my little ad where I was like, oh, I'm going to and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go live in a little bit. My phone was dying. So then I was like, oh shit. I have to charge my phone. So as soon as I plugged it in, it was like, hello, Alpha. So as soon as I plugged in my phone, it was kind of like, oh, it's dying. It's not, there's water in there. It's not going to charge. So I was like, damn. So I put it in rice. It's literally in rice right now. So I'm hoping that I can use my phone, but I have my computer, so it's fine. Okay. So now that I've applied that everywhere, I'm just gonna go in and do a little bit of like highlighting and contour. Nothing crazy. I'm trying to go for somewhere in between like Pablo Vittar and Aquaria. I really want to do the Aquaria eyes, and just kind of keep my brows. Just like I said, it's for class, so I'm not necessarily, uh, I don't have to do something like super crazy or something that's like supernatural. Like it doesn't have to be. There's no expectations for the class, and that's what I like about the queer gym. That you can come as you are. You can come in makeup. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to come in makeup to the gym, right? But I'm teaching the class from home, so I'll wear makeup. I'm putting a little bit of primer right here. Hey, misbehaving. You just a little bit of branding. Also, I'm doing my face, and I'm gonna do the number for your show, the boob show. So that I was just telling the audience earlier that I'm gonna be doing my boobs. So I'm gonna be like contouring my boobs. So that I'm gonna do a quick makeup with like boob contour. But everyone should tune in to Misbehaven's show. It's going to be on May 26th, I believe. You could plug it in down there. Can you attach the event info, please? And then people can click on the link Misbehaving. But yeah, just a little bit of branding, just a little yellow. The 23rd of May. Excuse me. Tune in. I'll definitely be like posting it and reposting, so you can find out there too. But we have an event page on Facebook that you can go and like right now. Say going, because when you say going to an event page, it then shares it to everyone else that you know. So even if you're not going to actually watch, or if you're just going to watch for a little bit, then you should still click going so that other people that you know can see that you're going to go. And that goes for any drag show or event, I guess, online. So I'm using the last bit of this Smashbox Studio Skin Flawless. It's pretty nice. I feel like I said, I'm going for just a little bit of makeup here and there, like chapstick and mascara, the usual. Trying to be a woman. Just like that. And if anyone, now there's 3 people watching. If anyone wants to join on this little chat right now, you could totally join on this video. I can just DM me, girl, and I'll send you the link. We could do a little chit chat for a sec. I'm just going to be doing my makeup for a little bit. So I finished that. I guess today is the getting rid of makeup day. Then I have another one that I'm going to get rid of. So I'm going to blend this out. And I'm going to bring it up a little higher over here. Misbehaving, you just got off work. I know you're going to be filming today, right? I was like, I'm already going to be doing, so my class is at 6:30 today. So I was like, I'll just like film the video. Because little secret, the song that I'm going to be doing for Misbehaven's show, the Boob Show, is actually one of my songs that I do at my dance class. So there might be a little dance choreo in there. Might be. So we're just gonna blend. And so I was just saying earlier, Sunday. I was just saying earlier how I didn't use a color corrector, right? So I'm really have to be really focused on not putting some of the colors that I normally put on this part of the face on the top that I put down here, just because sometimes those colors are brighter and are a couple shades lighter, so they actually end up enhancing the blue undertones that I have. So it's kind of it's been a journey, trying to find everything that like matches perfectly, and like it's still really hard. So like right now, like even me getting rid of all these products, like I've had them for a while and I haven't gotten rid of them because like this 210 Fenty, if you haven't tried the Fenty concealer, you should definitely try it. This is a really good color that I use when I'm not like doing makeup. If I'm just gonna like, if I want to like even out like my under eyes darkness, I just use that, and it's like the perfect color to just like pop it out and like brighten it a little bit. So I'm just gonna go a little bit right here. And then I like to put it in any areas. So I just did like right there where I have like darkness. And then right here on like the smile lines, those areas right there, like the frown lines, anything that you kind of normally see that just gets a little dark, that's where you could put like something like this. And then I'll probably do a little bit just like right here around the lip, just to define the edge of the lip. So let's say like I was just going to go to work or something and I didn't want to do my makeup, you could just do those areas. And it just gives you that little bit of brightness. So you can see it just kind of like pops out these areas. I don't even know if it'll be enough to brighten up that under eye. Just like that. And then after that, what you could do, if you're like a drag queen, is you could put like white right here or even right here. So I'm gonna put some white there. So you want to use like a cream white because that one is easier to blend, and you can just use like a little bit of that white. So what you could do is you could just like put it everywhere, or you can kind of strategically place it places. So I'm just gonna go like right there on the side, and then right here on like the highest point of the cheek. And then again over here, like especially over here, because that's kind of like where the highest point of the face is. And then depending on how you're gonna do your eyes, so it's kind of like when you bake, those are kind of the same spots that I'm trying to put it at. But I'm not putting a lot, and I'm just kind of blending it in, making sure to get that nice nose edge, and just kind of blend it up. And then where you had that little extra white, then it's gonna have that extra little bit of brightness. So it already looks like you have like a highlight going on there. It's like really light, really bright. With eyeshadow and highlights. I mean, that's fine. You could definitely blend like you could definitely set with eyeshadow because like when I did the green makeup recently, I had to use eyeshadow both for like the cream, so I made my own like green foundation, but then I also set it with those same green eyeshadows. So you could definitely do that. It's just a little harder since eyeshadows normally come in like little squares or little circles. It's like too small for a face brush to get on those little spaces. So you could definitely do it. I've done it before. Let's see. We're going on YouTube now. I think it's Mr. Haven that's still watching first now. I'm just, chilling, hanging out, hoping my phone turns back alive. Because then that would be a way that I could watch this. Okay, so then another part that I put Another part where I put the highlight is right here on the nose, and I just bring it down to the tip, just like that. And then right in the middle, I personally have a very small forehead. I kind of suffer from a smaller forehead, so I really have to focus on widening the forehead by brightening this whole middle, and then just focusing the contour. Hold on. Just focusing the contour on the edges. So then I literally just kind of go right here, and then my contour ends up like on my sideburns basically because I already have hair right there. Like I barely have a finger in between my eyebrow and my hairline. So I have to like usually like block that down if I want to do that. Is anyone watching on YouTube or is everyone watching on Facebook? Who knows? I think there's multiples. Someone's watching it on YouTube, I think. But I can't get no comments, so that's why I'm trying to figure out. But either way, so I go right here, and then at this point, what I could do is bake my under eye. So what I do is I really focus on pushing it down and blending out that under eye because I do get a lot of creasing. And then, hi Dawn. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. I have a little mic here, so it's like really good sound quality, I'm pretty sure. Can you hear my bouncing? I don't think so. But how are you doing in this quarantine, this crazy moment in time where, we get to take different advantages? I'm like running out of some of my favorite skincare products, and they're like all tatcha, and I'm just like, I gotta make another order. But I also have a lot of other stuff that I'm like, okay, I'm excited to try new stuff. So I literally have like a little pile, but I'm still using that vitamin C serum. Sorry, got a little text message. I know, right? It's crazy that like we haven't had time to like be in store and like get to try all the new things. Okay, so I'm literally like squeezing the last little bit of my the SPF Silken. I'm literally just like squeezing the last little bit of it, but I do have a lot of the eye cream. So like that's what I've been using. The eye cream is my go-to. Um, if you guys haven't tried the white peony, I believe it's what it's called, um, or it has white peonies. Um, but that's the Tatcha, the new eye cream. A little bit goes a long way. So I've had it for like days, and it's still there. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to take um, a little bit of that same sponge, and then blend out the under eye, and take a little bit of my powder, making sure we're using the right space. And I'm just gonna take it like this, and then I'm just gonna pat it in. So misbehaving if you're still watching. This is a good way. If you don't have a powder, we can talk about you getting a powder. But you can use a sponge, the same sponge, to just kind of press in a little bit of powder. So that way you're not like over powdering your face, but you're definitely setting it. And that's why it's important for you to blend out those seams or those, what's it called? Those creases. It's important to blend out those creases. I mean, they'll come back, but I trust like they will come back. They're really hard to get really, really out. You got to use like a combination of like a good primer and a combination of like obviously like a good eye cream, but then the makeup that you're using there, obviously like I'm using some of like my older concealers, so like that could be a big effect on that as well. So it takes a lot to get like a really, really nice smooth one. But basically, I'm just using a little bit of this powder. I like this one, which is the Anastasia. So it kind of goes the Anastasia foundation with the Anastasia powder. They both have a more luminous finish, which is why I love it. You actually don't need the powder to wear the foundation because it kind of self-sets. So the Anastasia foundation is really good just for like an everyday, just like throw it on super quick. But when you put the powder, it like sets everything in place, and it takes away that wet feeling, but then it still leaves the nice like luminosity to the skin. So I still have like a nice radiant finish, that's what I go for. I don't like a full matte finish usually. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna do a little bit of contour. So what I've started doing recently is just doing like my under eye and then my forehead. If I put on tapes, then like I'll have these on already. But then I just go in with my contour, and then I kind of like add more coverage onto the beard area. So that way I'm not like adding product everywhere over and over again. And then sometimes it ends up like coming off. So I'm gonna use this NARS concealer. Is there any more? No. Sorry, I stepped away from the office. So I'm going to use a NARS concealer. This is the color Amanda, like Amanda, but with an E at the end. And this one has worked out for me to be a really like natural, like everyday concealer. And one thing I like about NARS, obviously this is like one of like the more popular concealers. Like everyone raves about NARS, and like they're like, oh, this is the concealer of the stars, and like things like that. Because like Kim Kardashian, like a lot of people use this one. So the nice thing about it is that a little goes a long way. So you don't have to use a lot of it. Like this right here is going to go a long way. This color fades out or like blends out really nicely on me. So it's fine usually. But if I was trying not to like use a lot of product, like this is like way too much. And then I'll end up having to like put it everywhere else and it still won't look as good because it's just like way too much. So you can see how I said I was just going to keep it right here at the top. So I'm just keeping that contour right here at the top. So then that way it kind of just makes my face look longer or makes my forehead look longer, even though it's still like this, like just like a little bit like that. So I'm just blending out right here. And then same thing over here. Sometimes if you have like a more like a bigger forehead, like if you have like a 5 head or if you have like a couple fingers of forehead that you're just like, oh, that's too much. That's when you usually want to do like that like brown rainbow where like it's just like all around. But if you're trying to bring your face kind of upwards, then you don't want to do like a full circle. I'll kind of just barely touch it, you know, like just kind of like to even it out. But you really don't want to like go like that. Because when I do that, I found that, you know, like it just makes it look smaller. So then I'm going to take that same beauty blender and then I'm going to blend up. Just like that. And sometimes I like used to be like, oh, maybe you don't want to like blend out like the cream over like the powder, right? Because we just like contoured or we just set the highlight area. So sometimes it's fine because when I do my beard color corrector, I set it with a powder and then I put foundation over it. So it's usually fine. You don't have to worry about it, but you just have to be careful about like how many times you're doing it. You kind of want to do like all of your cream products together and then you want to set your powder. But if you're kind of like me, where some areas of your face are just like they just work differently than the other areas of your face, then it's okay to just kind of go in steps and like break it down. So now I just got that. And then I'm gonna add a couple more dimensions, so more color basically. So I have a contour palette right here, which is all creams. And then I'm just gonna use this to apply some I'm still watching. You know, I'm just trying to getting ready for my show, which is, or not my show. I mean, there will be a show. There's always a show. But, you know, this is kind of like the show for today. I also figured it's kind of like if I can already go live on YouTube, then that's kind of like just putting out like a YouTube video, which is like a makeup video. So why not just do that? Even though most of you are watching on Facebook, so I'm just adding another kind of like darker color, especially right there on the cheekbones, because the whole point is that we want to create like a shadow and we really want to make sure it stands out from the rest of the jawline. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a lighter color to really brighten the jawline. So that way it, first of all, it covers up the blueness. but then it just also looks even more like contoured. And I'm just gonna take a little bit and then again hit those sideburns, especially up here. And then at this point, what you could also do if you wanted, like some people, like if you don't have brows or if you've already blocked down your brows, right? Like I'm not gonna block my brows down today. But what you could do is like if you already have an eye primer on, you could just go in with some of these same contour colors and just give shape to your eye. And then that already will save you some time. So it's kind of like you're already getting like an eyeshadow and a contoured look without really trying. And then that's when you could go in with like your powders again. Or depending on what like cream products you use, you could even just like go in with like a setting spray if you're just going to work or something. All right, so what I did here is just use a more flat brush to try and correct my nose. So I just kind of like followed the line coming from, I'm gonna go back so maybe you could see better because of the light. So right here. And then up that way. Let's see what happens if I just turn this the way down. Is that too dark? Does it make it feel moody? Okay, so once you've added a little bit of dimension to your face, make sure all your highlights are still blended. And then you're gonna go back in with that beauty blender and then just hit those darker spots just to soften them up. And then obviously get that nose contour. Just like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and clean up the jaw area. You can kind of use the same sponge. So the trick with the nose contour, for those of you that don't do a nose contour often, is going in with a good amount of darker contour to really cover that area. So you want to make sure that you have your bright area in the middle, like your bright line, and then your, I guess like your brown 11 kind of thing, just like on the sides. And I close it down at the bottom. There's different ways you could do it. I just kind of like go down in a straight line. And then that's when I correct for my nose. If it's like a little bit crooked or something like that, I correct there. But then there's a lot of brown. And then what I do is I go back in with that foundation color or that highlight color, the concealer, and I just kind of clean up around the nose. And then some people bake here as well, so that you put more powder. So that way it really cleans up that darkness. So it doesn't bring in the brown all the way down on the nose. It just kind of keeps it on the top of the nose. And depending on if you want like a really snatched nose, then you really don't want to blend out much of it. You just kind of want to make sure you have it nice and symmetrical. You have it nice and even. But if you're going for a more like natural like nose, then like you definitely want to blend out those edges. You don't want to have like a lot of like brown, just like a sharp line of like brown. I mean, you can blend that out still, but you kind of just want to like blend everything together so that way it looks like a little bit just like softer. If you're trying to go for that, like I don't have any nose contour on, that's when you like want to blend. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add more foundation, and I'm gonna mix the foundation with another foundation that I use for kind of like brightening up that area and really giving me coverage. So if you haven't tried it, it's the Vanish liquid foundation. A lot of you out there, I feel like, have tried the Vanish in the stick, but the liquid's really good too because it's self-set, so it just dries down. You don't have to worry about putting powder over it if you don't want to. But then this color is a little bit light for me, so it works when I'm trying to like highlight underneath the contour or as like a base. I used to use that. So basically, I used to use this first everywhere, like all over the beard. And this was like my coverage foundation. And then I went in with a couple other ones as like not color correcting, but just like adding more of like my actual color into that area. So I've used this one a couple of times, and it actually works really well if you use it with your fingers too. But since I already have pretty good coverage, we're gonna try with the Beauty Blender. And the point here is to get that like clean line. Just like that. So as you can tell, this is a pretty good color, um, at least for screen. Like maybe if we were in person right now, I probably still would need a little bit of a color corrector or something, um, to kind of get rid of some of that darkness around the actual jaw. But like over here, it looks pretty good. So right there, we're still gonna put some contour. So that works fine. So that's what I meant by kind of like working in steps. If you take a little bit of if you break down your face a little bit more, you can find out where you need specific things. So if you need more coverage here, if you need more of a warmer base here, or if you kind of want like a little bit of like a cooler tone more over here or over there, things like that, where it's just like you can figure out ways to kind of make your face look a little bit more natural. So because that white makes my skin look very pale usually. That's why I don't like to use white a lot, because it just kind of makes it all look like super white, like she's just super bright. So it's just kind of like there's no real dimension to it. It's just I just made that tone brighter instead of like adding another color that happens to be lighter to brighten it, right? So it's just like I like to play with like a couple different foundation colors or like concealer colors to achieve that lightness and that brightening effect. But you could do that with white, and you can just like put white on, and it just makes everything white or like bright. So now I have a nice base. And I mean, at this point, I'm just kind of putting a little bit everywhere. I'm gonna go in and reinforce the contour. Oh, it's good. Itchy right there. So once you've done that, that's you could pretty much set here. But I am going to do a little bit of jaw contour, or like right here, to kind of like feminize my jawline a little bit more. So this is when I said like the NARS concealer goes a long way. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of taking it a little bit above where my jaw naturally ends, just like the tiniest bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend right on top of it. So we'll kind of blend up and down. Do you guys hate that I'm not playing music? I'm like, I don't know that I should play music because then it's going to get taken down. Then it's like copyrighted material. What do you think? Who's watching? There's one person watching right now. Whoever you are, I mean, I might be able to find out, but whoever you are, do you think I should be playing music even though it might be copyrighted content, so it might get taken down? Like, it won't be saved for later streams. Like, it just gets erased. Or is it worth the risk to play some music right now? I have one song. Oh. That person felt personally attacked. So I used this before. So then what I do from here is I kind of take it a little bit like right where that eye ear is, to also kind of bring my face not just up this higher, like so it looks more cut this way, but also close it in. Just like that. And I actually end up going back over it again with the light after, just to kind of make sure that that highlight cheekbone still is prominent. But it's just a little bit easier to do that. And then that way you get that like really soft right here. And then you just kind of blend everything together. It's kind of following the rule where like you kind of do a 3. Everything's connected. So we're gonna go back in with a little bit more of that darker color, and then we're almost there, honestly, for the face, of course. And then I like to bring my contour down onto my neck, like a triangle shape. So that way it makes it seem like the middle part of my neck is actually the deepest part, instead of having it be like there's like a peak there. And the trick with the jaw contour, even for just if you're regular everyday, is to bring it behind your ear. Make sure you bring that contour behind the ear, because that's kind of where the natural shadow comes from. Yeah, so you can already see those cheekbones are really popping. And as you can see, like I haven't put on any highlight or anything, but you can see like my cheekbones, like as soon as I move, like that looks like I have highlight on. And that's honestly just from using the white in that area right there, like using a lot of white. But it's also from the powder. The powder is just giving it a little bit more of like a luminous finish. So my whole cheekbone kind of has that like finish to it. Okay. So once I do that, like I said, I'm going to take a little bit more of whatever I have left on my hand. And I'm just going to go back in and clean up that contour. Perfect. This is when you make sure that those forehead lines are set, blended out. You don't want them to have any kind of like creases on the forehead, because if you have creases, they will stay there. This is when I normally would go with a powder puff. I don't know, have y'all tried a wet powder puff with powder? Let's see, what's the worst that can happen? Because I'm like, like the beauty blender is wet and I use it to set my face. I'm really trying not to move my forehead this whole time, because it is really important for you to not do that. So I'm just gonna press. It feels interesting. Because it was still pretty wet. So I'm actually just gonna go back in and just tap that area. It's my forehead. I'm not worried about my forehead a lot. Ugh, I hate how itchy it gets when you use powder. So I'm just gonna actually go ahead and use this powder with my beauty blender, because at this point I've used all of my cream products. Never mind. I have a couple that I like to use. My Ilia products. And I have a milk stick that, if you haven't tried, you're definitely missing out. If I can find it. Where did I put it? Okay, well, maybe I'm not going to be able to find the milk stick. But I'm going to show you two products. The two Ilia blushes right here. There's one. This one over here is a matte finish. And this one over here has more of like a wet finish. It also comes in like a stick format. So you can kind of just like stamp it on. But these are really good. They blend out really nicely just with your fingers. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I normally just kind of grab a little bit and just dab it right on my cheeks. And you could do this with a beauty blender as well, but it's super soft. It's very creamy. It's more of like a liquid formula, but then it dries down and it dries down to a matte finish. So there's no shine with this one. It's super convenient in like a squeezy tube. You kind of take the excess. I like to go around the nose. Then on the forehead. So yeah, so I just use that one like that. And then I'll go in with the other one, which is a more, this is more like a pink blush color, almost like a mauve. And then this one over here, it has more of like a peachy, orangey color. So I like to layer them. So you can already see the cheekbone kind of like coming out. And this one, like I said, has more of a wet, luminous finish. So unless you put powder over it, it's gonna have that kind of like brighter finish. That wet look. So like it could transfer. Okay. And if you feel like you went a little out of control with the blush, you can always use your sponge with the clean side, not the clean side, but like, you know, the foundation, the concealer side, the lighter colors. And you can kind of blend it down so that way it softens everything. At this point is when I would use my highlighter that I'm talking about. If I can find it, give me 1 second. It's like I had it and I put it to the side because I wanted to use it, but I no longer have it, so it's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my sponge and then set all those areas that I haven't already set. So like the blush, the contour, and the thing with powder is that you actually don't need a lot of powder. I know when we're doing drag, like a lot of people are like really sweaty, or like, you know, we're performing. So we're dancing, we're performing, we're singing, we're, you know, emoting. So like people get sweaty, people like get tired, people get hot. So we want to put a lot of powder to make sure we like have the makeup on. But if you use a nice primer, honestly, like the makeup should stay on. And there are some powders that make your makeup more waterproof too. So it's like you shouldn't need to put like a ton of powder on your face because once you put too much powder, it can kind of start getting this kind of like textured finish, just like that. And then we're just gonna do a little bit on that jaw contour. Cool. And then at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put on some eye primer, and I'm gonna start with my eyes. Um, But before then, let's just add the contour, I guess. We have 5 minutes before the hour. So I think let's finish with some of this, and then we can add some more bronze or add some more color, like translucent powder to kind of like cover up, and then I could do my eyes. So I'm just using this Fenty bronzer right here just to enhance that contour that we set down with the creams. And I'm just kind of keeping this upwards motion based on where I put my contour down. I'm able to kind of like push it into the bottom of the cheekbone and then kind of just get a little bit higher up here. So that way there's just like a natural lift to the face. And then I go right over these. And this is a darker color. So this is more of like a contour color. But I do have a bronzer, which is a little bit different. The contour is based on like darker colors and trying to get shadows into the face. So right here, I'm really trying to be like, this is my new bone structure. And you can kind of see like how it like looks darker right there. But then a bronzer just kind of gives color. So bronzers and more colors on the face are actually what helps give it that like real look over something that's more like cartoony or maybe even just like more draggy. Um, if you just have like two colors, if you just have like a contour and then like a highlight, then it's just gonna look very two-dimensional. And it's not even, and if you just use like colors like white, then it's not going to look like natural skin. It's just gonna look like, I mean, it might look like natural skin based on like your foundation color that you're using, right? Or if you're just using your natural skin and then you're just putting on white, but it's just gonna look really, really light, really bright. And especially if you're like darker skin, you know, like if you're POC and you just throw on white, then like that's not gonna make you look like you have like lighter skin. It's just gonna make you look like you put on white on your face and now it's just like blown out. So makeup it's really interesting and takes a while to like really discover. Just really discovering like what kind of products work for you and what kind of products like have worked for me. And honestly, like with drag personally too, it's kind of like even if you buy something and it's something that didn't quite work out for you, like we're still gonna use it. You know, like it's not like you're just gonna like return something and then not buy something else. So usually like most of us will just use what we have, even if it's not the right color. So it's just really like a trial and error, and it takes a long time to really find those perfect products because sometimes you use the one product that didn't really quite work for you for like months. So I just put a little bit of bronze contour. Then I'm gonna put bronzer right now, like I was saying, just to kind of get some life back into the face before we move on to the eyes. I've actually been missing. I have another color. So that was uh, Cocoa Mommy, I think. No, Caramel Cutie is the color that I just used. I'm going to use the Sephora Collection bronzing palette with a little bit of highlight. And I'm just using the two lighter colors to kind of like warm up the face a little bit. This is not what I normally use. I mean, I use some of this colors as well for like the darker colors, but I don't always use this for bronzing. I just can't find my other one right now. And then in the bronzing step, you can actually, since it's not about creating shadows, it's about giving color. You can actually go a little bit more in on the face, kind of like on the forehead, because that's kind of like where the sun naturally hits. So like you would have more bronze on the forehead, like you would have more bronze on your nose. Not necessarily shadows there, but you would have bronzer there. Obviously, like the high points of the cheekbones. And that's where you can kind of use a bronzer to even soften up more of that jawline too. There you go. And then I'm not gonna do blush because I still want to do powder, like the same powder that I'm about to do on my jaw. So I'm kind of going to like set my jaw right now. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm doing the aquaria eyes. So they kind of come down a little bit more down onto my cheekbone. So I don't want to like do all of my normal like powders underneath there if I'm just gonna put a lot of powder and then like go over it with like a cream or like some eyeshadow. You know, it's like less is more when you're trying to have something last all day. If you just put layers and layers and layers, eventually like you're gonna sweat, like that's just natural. Like eventually your body's gonna produce some sort of oil that's gonna start breaking it down. So if you have a lot of layers that are just like thick on top of your skin, then it's gonna be a slip and slide. But if you just have just enough and like the right products, then even if you do get sweaty or something, sometimes with the right colors and the right product, you almost get this like even better look because the oils kind of melt the makeup more. So those areas that might have looked cakey or something like that might blend out a little bit easier. All right, so that was me using the Urban Decay. I don't even know if they still make this, but it's medium light warm in their ultra definition powder. So it's like a powder foundation. I know for a fact they have a new one, so they probably don't make this anymore. Um, but that's just kind of like a medium tone that really complements my beard area. So that's what I use that one for. I'll probably add a little bit on my forehead. But again, less is more. So you don't want to use a ton of powder on those areas that like you've already spent all this time like making sure that it's like super soft and blended with the creams. If you go in and you start adding powders and powders and powders, then you're just gonna get like a powdery texture. So little goes a long way. So now I'm gonna do my eyes, which are gonna be more like Aquaria, kind of, sort of inspired, not exactly like Aquaria's. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab an eye cream. What do we think? At this point, I probably would have done my lips too. Why don't we just do that? This is kind of like I said. I've kind of switched around the way I do my makeup. Because some steps take less time than other steps. And if you do the steps right, then you can have it last for like all day. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use more of like a cream lipstick to create my shape and really give you those lips. Because they do get crusty like while we're working, so it's natural. But once we do that, I'll set it with powder the same way I set everything else. So then I'll be able to set those cream lips, and just how my makeup stays on all day, the lipstick should stay on all day. Let's see. Is anyone watching out there? I'm gonna check my Instagram. Gonna take a little post, a little inception moment. It's me, Betty Fresas, just here doing my face. Just finished with the base. Gonna do some Aquaria eyes, some Aquaria inspired eyes right now. So if you want to watch, you can actually tune in right now on Facebook. Come on, Inception. No people watching, but it's been an hour, so people have been tuning in and out. That's totally cool. Leave me a message. See, like, ooh, that's me. Um, Leave me a little comment. But yeah, let me know what you want to see, what you want to do. And I'm getting ready for my 6:30 class at the Queer Gym too. So if you want to tune into that, my dance class, you can also send me a DM. If you want to be part of my stream, and you're doing your makeup or you just want to chat, also let me know and I'll send you the link. See, easy peasy. So my phone works. Update everyone. My phone works. My phone has been charging. So that is great news. I'm very excited that I don't have to get a new phone. um, but I'm just gonna continue now. So, like I said, I'm gonna do my eyes. So I'm gonna need a little bit of an eye primer. I usually use the Anastasia. I got a lot of Anastasia stuff here, so I use a lot of it. But I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever eye primer, which also happens to be a lip primer. So we're gonna do double duty. So we're gonna put a little bit of the eye primer just everywhere. And then whatever excess or residue, store it on the lips. This is actually a primer for the eyes and the lips. So it works both ways. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do I think I'm gonna go full red. Then if it comes off, then I might change it up. But I'm just gonna go full red. So I love this Lip Stunner by Rihanna. It's really nice. It's almost out. It's uncensored. But what I like to do, like I said, is I'm gonna use my lipstick, which is in a cream, and then I'm gonna set it with a powder. And then what I could do is actually go over it with just like another regular lipstick, or I could just go over it again with that same brush. Okay. So I'm gonna use a small brush, vary that. And the reason why I want to use a small brush is because I'm just gonna like draw my lips in. So if I had a big brush, then it would just be too much. And I'm gonna take a little bit of this white liner. This is like a little trick from the theater. You can highlight where, so you can essentially outline where you want your lip to go. So now we have like a white highlight over it. And I usually go for like a widow's, not a widow's peak. What's it called? A cupid's bow. Just like that. So now I have like a general outline of where I want my lips to be. what I could do is just kind of blend it down a little bit. Just so it's not as dark, or not as dark, but like as prominent that I put that white there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go in with that lip. So what I like to do is I just take it from the applicator and put it on my brush. And then just like that. So just the same way that you can kind of do this. Then what you could do is take a small brush again, or you can just clean this brush and then go around it and then clean up if like there's any areas that you fucked up, or there's some areas that maybe like didn't line up, or like where there was bleed through, then you can kind of go back and fix it. There you go. So just little by little. I mean, once you get the hang of it, you can do this quicker. But there's definitely like an art, just how like there's an art to just like applying your lip with in the same applicator and the same bullet. So yeah. And you can just kind of keep adjusting it to make it even, just to make sure that all right. And then the bottom lip is actually pretty interesting. I like to keep it tight around the sides and then bring it down a little bit lower. Right around the middle. And just like that, now you have lips. And you might be like, why would you just do your lips before? Like, don't you want to like finish the rest of your face first? And yeah, you might think that, but when you're like in a show or something, like you might be rushing, and it's honestly like better to have your lips on, because then you're just like ready for like a picture and everything. Like, let's say like your brows didn't turn out the best, then like you just like put on some bangs, as Willem would say. But the lips, it's kind of like you're lip syncing. So, it's like your lips should look good. So, like, you can focus some more time on the lips and then take some less time out of like putting on highlighter. It's just like highlighter is one of those things that you could leave for the last minute. So, you could take a little bit extra by doing the lips first. So, now talking about lips, we finished the lips with the lip primer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set it, but I'm going to wait for it to dry down a little bit. In the meantime, since I already put eye primer on, I'm going to go ahead and use some of this white to just kind of like brighten up the area. And I'm just going to press it right in. So once you've brightened up your eyes, which as you can tell, it does the work, what you could do is grab your setting brush and then just tap a little bit of that translucent powder on it. Because you want to have a nice, bright, wet base, but you don't want it to be like super like sticky to the point where if you put a color down, it's just gonna make it either the color darker or just like stand out a lot. And then you're gonna take that same powder brush, and then we're just gonna take an excessive amount of powder and go over those areas that you like, that you don't want to change, right? So like I like the way my blush looks, so I'm gonna cover that up. I like the way my colors are looking, so I'm gonna protect them by baking. And then that way, if there's any fallout from the colors, which there probably will be, then it'll just get caught up. So once I have all that, I think what would be a good thing to do right now would be to kind of use a pencil. So I'm going to use a pencil to line where I'm going to kind of create my shape. So I'm going to use a brown pencil. Like I said, I'm going to do more of that aquaria kind of shape. So it's going to go more, it's like a liner. Let's see, let's look it up. Why don't we look it up so that way we don't get it wrong. Um, okay, So it's like not on her eyes at all. So based on my eye shape is how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go right here and I have a natural crease. So I'm just gonna follow that crease like that. And I naturally wanted to go above this because I want you to see the colors. And then she kind of has like this lower angle she always has. So once I have down my base, which is I guess just like the eye around it, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this flat brush with a white cream, and I'm just gonna clean up inside. So that way I could get that nice like sharp line. Okay. And I'm just gonna start going ahead and place colors, just because I feel like we're here, and it's probably gonna look better if we're placing the shadows when it's still wet. So I just gotta figure out what shadows I wanna do. I'm thinking of doing like a bright pink right here in the middle. So you gotta remember that there's gonna be color everywhere, right? The whole liner is gonna be filled in with color instead of it being like regular black. So I'm gonna start out with some bright pink, I think. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Let's go with like a Jeffree Star beauty killer bright pink moment. It's called Star Power. Seems like a hot pink. Okay. Where is that? Whoosh. See what kind of color do we want down there? So I'm gonna go in with another bright color. This time I'm gonna do orange underneath the eye. I don't know what I'm going for, but we'll find out. It's just like colorful, like fun. Maybe like Lisa Frankie. I know I want to put purple in there, so I'm gonna get like a purple color. In this case, the smaller the brush, the better. So you could get into those like nooks and crannies. Let's see. Kind of feeling like purple. What kind of purple? Maybe this Alyssa Edwards purple. So we got our Miss Alyssa Edwards palette. It's got a couple purples, so I think this is a good option. I know naturally like the purple should go closer to the pink, but I kind of want to use it to kind of lift my eye up a little bit. I think the green has to come up higher. And you know what? We're missing one color, but I really actually like what turned out to happen here. Aquaria doesn't really have it this way, but I'm gonna have it kind of do a halo. Mostly to bring light back into the eye. But also because I want to put a light blue there. And I feel like if I put white, it's just gonna really make it pop. So I'm gonna choose just one of like the lightest blues that I have. Let me get a clean brush. What is this? So we're gonna be using the Blue Blood from Jeffree Star, and there's this light color up here, mint tea. So it's really, really bright, really light, very like pastel-y. And then there's an I'm cold color, and that one seems to be a little bit more vibrant. So I'm using a little bit of both. All right, so once we've done that, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a liner. I'm gonna use this one, which is the Anastasia. Yeah, I mean, it's got like more like that. Like if I have my tapes on, but like I said, we're not trying to be exactly like Aquaria. I just kind of like, I was interested by the style of the liner. So that's kind of what I was going for, I guess. And then what I'm gonna do is, I think I already dusted off the X's. I'm gonna try to emulate it on the other side, but to kind of finish it off, I'm gonna add some of my lighter powders, a little bit of blush, a little bit of highlight, and I'm just adding these things so that I can add like a little bit of like a black lower shadow to the eyeliner. And then with my trusty blush. Yeah, I like the way that this turned out. So once I'm properly blushed up on that side, I'm gonna go ahead and put some highlighter there. Just like that. And then, which is what I was doing all of this for, is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna grab my brush. Make sure it's not a brush that you're using because I'm gonna use some like darker colors on it. So I'm gonna take the Alyssa Edwards palette again, and then I'm gonna use some of these like dark brown back rolls and beasts, and then I'm gonna smoke out this bottom lash line because it's a little bit harsh right there. Yes, much better. All right. So once you've done that, I mean, at this point, like you would just like recreate it on the other side, things like that. I'm wondering if I should just keep alive. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish up the one side of my face, and then off camera, off the live, I will do the rest of my face. And then, I'll come back and then you can see. I'll take a picture or two on my Facebook and on my Instagram so you can see the finished results. But I think I am just going to do the other one on the other off camera. So I'm just going to finish up. So what I'm doing is I am going to be wearing this blonde wig behind me. So I don't want to go with too darker brows. In fact, I'm almost kind of going for a more taupe, lighter color. So we're just using this Benefit brow pencil right here. This is in the color 3.5. This is in the color 3. So it actually, I guess, kind of matches the hair that I have, like my actual hair color right now, not my roots. I keep forgetting I don't have black hair anymore. And it's just like a fluffy, thicker brow. I'm not trying to spend too much time or too much work on my brows. I normally have like a floofy brush. I just put it away. Right here. So then you take your spoolie. You brush it out. And then what I recommend is you have a brow gel. And what you could do is you could take your brow gel. So you could take a brow gel. And then what you could do is just kind of brush it into your hairs. So then you can see this one's more brown. So it's actually making my brow more brown rather than black. Just like that. And then basically all that I would add after this would be a little bit of highlight underneath the brow bone. Something like this. Just making sure that's blended. Take a little bit of like a white highlight would probably be best for this look because there's so many colors already. Just like that. So once you've highlighted it, and you got it right there. And I was actually going to try and do, what's it called? I was going to try and do I'm going to do a little bit of a liner, but I was going to try and do my boobs for you all here, but I actually have to, I can't because I have to go because I have to take the dogs out. So I don't necessarily want to put on my boob contour and work all of this magic and then put on a shirt on and then have it all come off, or at least some of it come off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to finish up this and then take the dogs out and then do it after. So because we already have a liner, I'm not trying to do a liner. I'm just trying to create a base for where the lash is going to go. And then I'll take some of that brown. Oh, stupid. So you can see now that it's smoked out. It kind of lifts my eye up. And then you definitely don't want to forget putting a little bit of color on your inner eye. So because I feel like my eye is so colorful right now, we're going to put in some colorful liner. Normally I go with like a dark. How about like a blue liner? And then from here, I would just put on my lashes. Put on another highlighter, maybe more bronzer, more contour. Where's that black? I think even add a little bit of black since we were just smoking it out. Back to that lower lash line, it just really made it pop. Since my goal was to soften it. Now you can tell that it's a sharp shape again. Ooh, that looks fun. Okay, well, I'm going to end the stream at about 2 hours, which is 3 minutes from now. So I'm just going to keep on doing my makeup. Like I said, that's basically how I would finish it. Just add another highlight on top of it. I'm going to do a spray before that. But my brows and everything is done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to recreate it on the other side. If you want to keep on watching for 2 more minutes, I'll keep it on for 2 more minutes. If you enjoyed watching this, if you stayed on the whole time, I know I've been seeing the numbers go in and out. So I know no one watched it the whole way. I wasn't expecting anyone to watch this the whole way. But you know, it's still there for the future. So if you want to skip through it in the future or something, my Venmo is still there. It's been there this whole time. So you can leave a little tip um, to at least pay for this streaming device. But if not, that's totally cool. If you like the little logo right here on this side, then you could definitely go onto my merch page, which is on my Instagram. But it's literally Betty Fresas period threadless and then .com. And then right there you could shop for Virgen Betty, which is my newest style. There's tons of options from shirts and sweaters. There's even some home and accessories, so check them out. Sorry, had to get that really sharp right there. But besides that, make sure to check me out, like I said, on my Instagram. I'm going to be doing my class in about an hour, so I'm pretty excited about that for the dance class. And then after that, I will be filming for Misbehaven's The Boob Show, which is on the 23rd of May. So you could see this look in a performance on that day. And that will be streamed, I think, on Facebook as well. But I'll be posting a little bit more about it as well. But thank you all for watching. I appreciate you, every single one of you, to tuning in, even if, you know, it was just for a little bit. Bye. Adios.